In this video, I'd like to reflect on my recent trip to the New England states. I traveled through 6 New England states, and one of the things I wanted to see for sure was Walden and Walden Pond and the cabin that Henry David Thoreau lived in. Certainly has had a big influence on my life. Even when I was young, I grew up in nature, and I remember when I read Walden and learned about Henry David Thoreau and his classic work, Walden was, I could resonate with it so much because I grew up in nature, and I always, for some reason, wanted to live a simple life, and I've tried to do that throughout my life. So it was on my bucket list to see Walden Pond, the cabin that he lived in, or I come to find out it was a replica of the cabin, the same square footage and things. Made it a point to stop by Concord, Massachusetts, and visit Walden. And I thought I wanted to make a video about, well, why do people go to Walden? Why do they flock there? I mean, when you look at it, it's just it's a pond like many other ponds. I've certainly seen prettier ponds and prettier landscapes, but what is it about Thoreau's life and his writings, specifically in this video, Walden, what is it about that connects with so many people? So this video, I wanted to highlight 5 lessons that you can learn from Thoreau and hopefully apply to your life, and hopefully your life will be more richer, not just financially, but richer in many ways by applying some of these lessons. So Henry David Thoreau is one of America's most celebrated authors, most influential authors for sure. And Walden highlights many of the things that we can still learn from to this day. It's amazing. This was written in the mid-1800s, but a lot of this stuff can be applied to today. I visited there in October of 2024, and it's just as relevant in 2024 as it was in the 1840s. All right, so the first lesson is simplify your life. You know, we have this movement, minimalism has been very popular for years now, and it's always been popular. You know, living simply is a great way to live. Focus on what's important, you know, reduce your life in terms of possessions, expenses to the bare minimum to what's important. And then once you do that, as a result, many times you gain more freedom and more satisfaction in life. So Thoreau was always saying, simplify. And so his philosophy of voluntary simplicity, very important, because you want to focus on what's important in your life and avoid the useless stuff, the stuff that doesn't bring you joy, that causes you stress. So simplify your life. Another very important lesson, as I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons I kind of connected with Thoreau at an early age is because I grew up around nature, always out and about in nature. And Thoreau encourages us to connect with nature. When he lived at Walden Pond, he was very much immersed or around nature. And there's all kinds of mental health benefits from being around nature, wellness benefits, physical health, being out in fresh air and being active in nature. Especially in this day and age, you know, a lot of times we're in our offices, in front of computer screens, in front of our phones. And so it would really benefit us to be around nature and connect with nature. And he was focusing on that back in the 1800s. Another lesson number 3, is to live deliberately. One of the most famous quotes of Thoreau is, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately." I mean, you see so much. You even got apps now on our phones that focus on, emphasize the importance of living consciously and intentionally. You know, many times, unfortunately, most of society wakes up, gets ready for work, goes to work, do whatever they have to do for work, get in their car or in public transportation, and just like zombies, they go home, eat, shower, sleep, get up, do it all again the very next day. Well, Thoreau encourages us to live intentionally. Rather than sleepwalking, we want to be definitely immersed, aware of life. And so you want to have this self-awareness about what decisions you make, how you're spending your time, instead of just going through it and just going through the motions. So very, very important lesson is to live deliberately. Number 4, lesson that you can learn and apply to your life from Thoreau's writing is practice self-reliance. Long time ago, I had a YouTube channel for a little bit called Self-Reliance Finance. It was all about personal finance from a self-reliance perspective. Then I saw somebody had a title similar to that, and I wasn't too sure if people would know what self-reliance would mean, so I scrapped it. But that's how important self-reliance is to me. So Thoreau was a big advocate of self-reliance. Just like Emerson, self-reliance is very, very, very influential. One of the major philosophies throughout the 1800s, especially in America. So Thoreau tried to grow his own food, built his own shelter, built his own cabin. But more than that, it's about living your own life on your own terms. Not who cares what society thinks or your peer pressure, all the peer pressure around you, what other people want you to do. But it's almost a sense of, you know who you are, and you want to live your life on your own terms, live a life independent of what other people think. You march to your own drummer, and how you live your life is because that's the way that you want to live it. You have faith that you're going to trust your own judgment, and you're not going to fall victim to societal norms and other people's opinions. And you see this, you heard the term keep up with the Joneses. I mean, this is kind of it. Thoreau would be like, you all do whatever you want to do, whatever society you think society wants you to be, how many cars you want. Of course, Thoreau didn't think like that before cars, but the point is, you live life according to what you think's important, and not that you don't care what other people think. You might factor that in, but you're still going to live life by what's best for you. Do not be afraid to be independent. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go out and grow your own food and homestead and live off the land, but there is a confidence that comes with knowing that you could take care of yourself, that you could get by on your own with your own two hands, your own thoughts, your own savvy, your own skills. So practice self-reliance. Don't fall victim to what society wants, the advertisements, the peer pressure. Just because somebody else got a brand new car doesn't mean you have to go out and get a brand new car. If your car's 10, 15 years old and has 120,000 miles on it, but it's been well maintained, save yourself the stress of having a car payment and drive your car, because you are satisfied with that and you don't care what other people think about what you drive. So that's just one example. And then finally, number 5, live in the present. I mean, Again, this I can't state this enough. This guy was writing about this in the 1840s, in the mid 1800s, and here we are a couple hundred years later, almost, saying the same thing or focusing on the same thing. Thoreau emphasized the importance of mindfulness, living in the present, very Zen-like. He once wrote that above all, we cannot afford not to live in the present. How many apps are out there? How many times have you heard somebody, some guru, or on some talk show or on a morning show that stresses the importance of living in the moment? Be immersed in life, fully engaged in life, fully aware, the highs and lows. Be immersed. Practice mindfulness. Be in the present. Yeah, we want to learn from the past, but we don't want to necessarily live in the past. And you don't want to psych yourself out by creating so much anxiety of what could happen in the future. We don't know. You don't want to be a fortune teller. You want to live in the present and be fully immersed in the present. So again, here are 5 lessons that you can learn from Thoreau. Simplify your life. Connect with nature. Live deliberately. Practice self-reliance and live in the present. If you ever get a chance to go to Concord, Massachusetts, and see the little bitty 150 square foot cabin that Thoreau lived in for a while, where he wrote one of the most well-known works of American writings, American literature, see the pond that influenced him, that he spent time around, I highly recommend it. If you can't make it there, and if you hadn't read Walden yet and his other writings, please do. I think you will be very, very pleased. And a lot of the things that he wrote about, specifically these 5 lessons that I discussed in this video, can really enhance your life, can allow you to live deliberately, live in the present, and the quality of your life can be greatly enhanced. If you like this video, I appreciate it. Hit that like button. If you hadn't already, appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. And that way you can learn how to live well according to your terms and create your own blueprint to having a very, very satisfied life.